Hey, we really appreciate y'all for tuning in. You already know what time it is.
Welcome to the podcast. We gon' keep on pounding, juke them out his cleats, boy, I'm too fast. Hit the field, know we gon' spaz. CMC gon' run it back. Defense out here going crazy. Super Bowl, we want it bad. Pause up. It's only us. At the top, it's time to rock. No, we won't stop. Open it up, I need that block. I got key with me, cold with me, hurts with me, kill with me. Big cat ain't going nowhere, you gotta deal with me. Carolina.
I want to welcome back everyone to Keep Pounding TV and Nine Lives Panthers podcast. If this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The Nine Lives Panthers podcast and Keep Pounding TV premium content is produced every week for your enjoyment. Come back often. Feel free to add our Nine Lives Panthers podcast and Keep Pounding TV to your Spotify or iTunes favorites list. You can also find myself or the rest of the Nine Lives Panthers podcast and Keep Pounding TV on Twitter and also on Facebook. All links are on the show notes. In today's show, we're going to talk about the inside scoop between the Panthers and the Vikings that are set to kick off at 1 p.m. on Sunday from Bank of America Stadium. Man, we've been getting a lot of home games this year. Loving it. The Panthers and us Panther fans are devastated to witness the game against the Eagles. Meanwhile, the Vikings have made really tough sledding of their 2021 season. They could easily be 0-5 if 2 field goals had gone differently. If the Panthers do not win this game at home, there will be serious question marks over the direction of this team in 2021. So, which team do you guys think will get the victory this Sunday? Which team sidelines do you think gets the Academy Award-winning nominee for Best Picture? That's really like the bottom line this week, you know? Do you think Joe Brady will listen to Robbie Anderson? Let's see what Robbie had to say. Video of Robbie Anderson response.
I was talking to him because that's who that's my coach. That's who we speak to. Joe's in the box, so that's how we pass along communication.
You had done that earlier in the game. I mean, I know that was the last play the offense had the ball. Had you asked for the double move earlier?
Yeah, because I saw how they were playing things, and I was like, I feel like we do this. They playing this a certain way. We do this. We got a shot.
Well, Matt Rule, what do you have to say about that?
There's nothing to it to me to begin with. I told everybody what I thought. I said, guys have emotion as long as they don't cross a line. It's a game of emotion. I think probably 30 years ago, 40 years ago, before there was cameras everywhere, people got emotional on the sidelines during games. And just like I said, we all have to play better. Instead of worrying about what we're doing, I want everyone to worry about how they're doing what they're doing. And so me and Robbie have a great relationship, just like everybody else. And not much to it that beyond me. I really didn't think about it again after we had the conversation.
Interesting, huh? At least I thought it was interesting. Joe Brady was not available for comments. Go figure. Now, on the other side of the trenches, do you think Mike Zimmer got the message from Kirk Cousins this week? So I was able to speak to Mr. Cousins to ask him what he had to say to that.
I'm actually really goofy.
Okay, well, that wasn't helpful. Let's ask Coach Zimmer.
What was going on with you and Kirk on the sideline?
Honestly, he's doing exactly what I want him to do. He's being a leader. He's being vocal. He's being showing emotion. And I've been talking to him about it all year. And, it's no different when Bradford tackled me in practice, because I was trying to get him to be the same thing. And so, he came over and said, "You like that?" and kind of gave me a shove. And I shoved him back. And it was all good.
Wow, Panther Nation. I stopped at a Subway on my way out of Minnesota and saw that the cousin leadership qualities is really spreading to the Vikings fans.
Give me two more. That Subway cookie is fucking good. Give me two more. Give me two more.
Could this be too much of a distraction for Vikings to overcome? I tell you what, Panther Nation, according to ESPN, the Panthers have a 54.3% chance to win, while the Vikings have a 45.3% chance to win. So literally, they have like 55% chance of losing pretty much. So before week 5, the Carolina Panthers felt like they would be a huge favorite in this week 6 matchup. But then Sam Darnold fell back to earth. Expect Vikings to feature their star running back with Dalvin Cook returning from injuries, while Christian McCaffrey is on a 50-50 probability of playing, while Chuba Hubbard is filling in great as our running back and only gets better each week. Ultimately, the edge goes to Carolina. As hard as it is to say, Carolina fell in heartbreaking fashion this past Sunday, dropping our overall record to 3-2 on the young year. At one point, the Panthers had a 15-3 lead before Philadelphia stormed back in the second half to take the lead and eventually go on to win the game. Turnovers, poor pass protection, Jalen Hurts' legs at the end of the game cost Carolina to win. Let's face it. I mean, those are the hurtful truths right there. Whether we like it or love it. I mean, love it or hate it. It's a tough loss for the Carolina Panthers and us Panther fans to get over. But the hurtful truth is that we can't dwell on it and essentially lose more games. Carolina fans and players has to turn the page and move on to this week's opponent, which is the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota is coming off of a 1917 win in which Greg Joseph kicked a 54-yard field goal as time expired to defeat the Detroit Lions. Although they scraped by the winless Lions, the Vikings are a solid football team. They fell in overtime to the Bengals on opening week, lost to the undefeated Arizona Cardinals by 1 point, beat the Seahawks, and then lost to the Browns 14-7. Vikings QB Kirk Cousins has done an extremely good job of moving the offense, completing passes at a near 70% clip to go along with his 10 passing touchdowns. Cousins has a pair of dynamic receivers to his arsenal in Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, both of whom could pose some problems for the Panthers secondary as they did in our last matchup against the Vikings. On the flip side, the Vikings have a middle-of-the-road type of defense, which could bode well for Sam Darnold, who has struggled the past 1.5 games. Yes, half a game, he did all right. With running back Christian McCaffrey likely to return probably next week, this should give the Panthers a much-needed boost offensively. But if not, we still have Chuba Hubbard. Big Cat, just go ahead and erase that last little part. You know what else I found interesting, guys? Ironically, Minnesota is not scoring touchdowns on offense in the second half of games. It's deadly. Only the Vikings and Chicago Bears have scored fewer than 3 offensive touchdowns in the second half of games through 5 weeks of 2021. Minnesota's offense is shrinking when the game is on the line. During the last 2 weeks, the play calling was abysmal at best. For some reason, the Vikings merely need to run out the clock to find wins. That garbage does not work in modern NFL. The strategy might have worked 30 years ago. It probably didn't, actually. But empathetically, isn't congruent with the offense-happy league right now. Leads are not safe as Panthers fans, and hopefully the Panther coaching and players have learned as much. This is like the emergence of emphasis on the three-point shot in the NBA. Leads aren't secure in that league either. Teams cannot sit on things and hope to be successful. Wouldn't you agree, Panther Nation? Sounds familiar. Zimmer insists on safeguarding leads with defense, a group just starting to hit stride in the last 2 weeks. Before that, his defense fundamentally wasn't good enough to nurture a 7 to 14 point lead. But Vikings coach Zimmer still believed that was a good idea. The Vikings fans are praying to open the lid on the Pringles can in the third and fourth quarters. Nobody cares if the first half was preposterous. NFL games are won in the final 2 quarters. If anything, Minnesota will try to slow roll offensive stuff in the first half, preferring to open up creativity in the second half. If they absolutely require to be one or the other. I mean, either or, that strategy is either going to be in the first half, second half, but history states it's probably going to be the first half. Teams cannot win football games when they stop scoring points during the crunch time. They also cannot flourish when the kicker misses easy walk-off field goals. And that's why the Vikings are 2-3 instead of 3-2. When you go behind the Vikings enemy lines, you will see that they have not scored an offensive touchdown in the second half of a 2021 game when the score margin was within 7 points. That's not going to cut it. The Vikings have not played a complete game yet, folks, in 2021. Mike Zimmer's bunch got it close a couple of times at the beginning of the season. However, the team sits at 2-3 with a mission statement of must win heading into week 6 at the Carolina Panthers. That must win will not work out well for the Vikings this week with a very hungry, dangerous Carolina Panther defense ready to rebound. Will the locker room Vikings soap opera be too much of a distraction going into Sunday's game? Only time will tell. Hey guys, listen, thank you for listening. Stay tuned for our upcoming shows this week where we will be getting a closer look into our beloved Carolina Panthers to identify what needs to happen to take home that W this week. Keep pounding.
Hey, we really appreciate y'all for tuning in. You already know what time it is.
Welcome to the podcast. We gon' keep on pounding, juke them out his cleats, boy, I'm too fast. Hit the field, no, we gon' spaz. CMC gon' run it back. Defense out here going crazy. Super Bowl, we want it bad. Pause up. It's only us at the top. It's time to rock, no, we won't stop. Open it up, I need that block. I got key with me, cold with me, hurts with me, kill with me. Big cat ain't going nowhere, you gotta deal with me. Carolina.